Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the Scribe Tribe, to another Galaxy of Heroes video featuring bald-headed Scribbly Bibbly Boo. Hope the tribe's doing well today. So, we've got good news and we've got bad news about upcoming GL layer and upcoming raid changes, and I thought it's about time you and I sat down and have a chat about it. Let's break this down. Alright guys, so as many of you are aware, we've got a new GL coming out very soon, and we've had the final set of requirements for GL layer come out super quick. Was not expecting them to drop it this quick, and I will be honest, these requirements for layer are very generous. Now, don't get me wrong, I know we have 4 marquees to break through for this particular Galactic Legend, and that's not a particularly easy pill to swallow because it's a lot of grinding, okay? But in the long term, it's not terrible. You know, in a year's time, that's not going to be a bother for anybody. Now, the relic levels across the board are pretty generous. There's no relic 9s. There's only one relic 8, I believe, and that is R2-D2. And the characters that they've picked for this last round, if we have a look here, so set 2 is Scout Trooper, R2-D2 at Relic 8, Captain Han Solo, which is already a crossover with Jedi Master Luke, so's Rebel Officer Leia Organa. Chief Chirper at low relics will be super easy to get. Old characters do not require Chirotechs, and we've got so much easy access to those lower level sort of Carbanti, Stun Guffs, Stun Guns, all that sort of business now with the current raid reward system, that it'll be super quick to get these old characters up there anyway. So the last set, obviously we've got Captain Drogon, which we're assuming is going to be the next marquee. He's at Relic 7, so yes, that's a bit of a stickler. But Commander Luke Skywalker at Relic 7 is not a bad investment. You need CLS, I believe, at Relic 5 to unlock Jedi Knight Luke anyway. So it's just 2 extra levels if you haven't already taken CLS up there. CLS is still a phenomenal offensive team in GAC, and it's also still pretty good on defense. Still has complete viability in Rise of the Empire TB as well. Super useful team to have. Bausch Leia at Relic 5, that is exactly the same as her requirement for Jabba. So anybody that has gone on and unlocked Jabba will already have Bausch Leia at Relic 5. Then you've got 3PO and Chewie at Relic 7. Again, CLS's team is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There is no bad thing about having 3PO and Chewie at Relic 7 at all. And the final one is we've got Lobot over here at a low Relic 3. Super easy, low-hanging fruit to get. Easily farmed, and also very easily geared up because he's an old character. And he's getting a rework, which, you know, it tickles me pink. I don't know whether that means he's going to be on the layer team. I kind of hope not, to be honest. I'm hoping they're reworking him so that he can go play with Afro or something, or play with Salty, because I don't want to use Lobot. Do you? Anyway, moving swiftly on. So those are kind of the good and the bad. There's a little bit of a mixture there, you know. Extra marquee, bad. No capital ship, great. No high relics, great. Easy old farmed characters. Lots of bleed over with prior GL farms or legendary farms. Super easy GL to unlock, in my opinion. Totally down with it, can't wait. Now, obviously all these new marquees are going to be featured in the new raid, which is good and bad. It just means those of you that are pushing for GL layer, you know, public service announcement here, guys. Push for GL layer. Just do it. It's going to be worthwhile. Those of you that do push for her are going to have, you know, 2 teams, essentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, nearly 2 teams. Actually, you will have 2 teams. Thanks for the additional investment in other characters here, like Chief Chirper and all that business. But yes, you'll have many teams already set up to be used in the raid, which is great. So it'll start, you know, giving you a little bit of a boost into those initial rewards, right? So I want to talk about the good stuff about the new raid before we start lambasting about the bad stuff, okay? So we'll ignore the fact that the raid currency is going. I've already said my piece on it. We'll touch on it slightly in a second. But this here, the raid cadence, they are changing how frequently we have to do the raid. In my opinion, this is a great thing. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but when I'm there during the week and I constantly feel like I'm having to attack the Krayt Dragon. It's every 3 days. You sort of go in there, you do your 5 teams, you hit your whatever score threshold you happen to do. Maybe there's a bit of remodding, maybe there isn't. I only remod 1 team. You get your rewards up to 5.4 mil in my case, and then it feels like you wake up the next day and you've got to do it all over again. It feels like you're just constantly on this treadmill of hitting this raid. And whilst it's great and the raid is entertaining, playing it that frequently with that level of expectation burns me out on that raid very quickly. It gets solved incredibly quickly, and you're just there doing the same thing. It's boring, man. I love the rewards, so they're fixing it. They're essentially saying, look, we realize that people are burning out on these raids, so what we're going to do is we're going to double the ticket cost to activate the raid, so it takes twice as long to activate the raid, but we're also going to double the rewards as a consequence. It just means you get the same in any given 6 days, you'll get the same amount of rewards, but you spend half as much time playing the raid. That's a win-win for me. That's a win-win for me. I hope you guys do agree as well. Let me know down in the comments section if you are on board with the raid cadence change. But it's not all good news. First and foremost, we will touch very briefly on the fact that the Mark III raid currency, which is where most people get their access to their girder keypads, their impulse detectors, their aero magnifiers, all that good business, that is being confirmed right here, completely stripped out of the Crate Dragon raid, which means CG has got no intention of letting players continue to benefit from the investment that they made in the Crate Dragon raid teams, okay? I don't care what argument somebody comes up with for why they think this is a good thing. In my opinion, players should never be punished and have their rewards for something they do already removed. Okay, it should never happen. If they want to incentivize the new raid, they should introduce additional rewards to the new raid, not remove raid from existing locations. That's just my take on it, and I don't care if they said in the past the featured raid reward will be the only place to get the featured currency, which they didn't state was Mark III. They just said this new currency. There were 3 currencies that came. They were all new. But regardless, I am personally on the opinion of players should never lose rewards for doing the same thing. Okay, that's just me. In my opinion, if CG wanted to incentivize this new raid, they should have just said, look, you're going to get the same reward structures in this raid, but also in each box you're going to get X amount of additional signal data. You're going to get X number of Omicrons or Zeta mats or mod slicing materials or anything or all to try and incentivize people to play this new raid. Because people will want to play the new raid. A, because they're probably bored of the Crate Dragon. B, because it's a new raid, they kind of want to do it. And C, if they've gone for the new GL, because you don't need to incentivize players to go for a new GL, they'll just do it. See, if they've got this new GL, they're going to want to use her in the raid she could be used in. So it just irritates me. I get it. I understand why CG does this. It's to keep us investing in new teams, to keep us using our crystals, using our gear, buying crystals, buying packs, marquee packs, there's 4 of them, to try and get ahead of these changes. And it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I've got no problem in investing in my rosters. But when you've got stuff like Bauschleier's Omicron now having 0 use in the game, because she's not in the new Endor raid. Similarly for Scout Trooper, new raid Omicron. When this Endor raid is done, that Omicron is going to most likely become useless unless he happens to be on the raid that comes after it, which is unlikely. I don't like this precedent. And that brings me on to the second point, raid length. I don't know, did CG think that this was like they were doing us a favor when they wrote this one? Because this one seems weird to me. We heard your feedback that raids, while awesome, are being released at a faster pace than you find enjoyable. Absolutely correct. So, Crate Dragon raid came out, and we were like, wow, new raid, cool. Play it too much. And then they said, oh, we've got a new raid coming. We're like, wow, that was really quick. And we started thinking, we go, wait a minute, what's going to happen to our Mark III currency? And they said, oh, you're going to lose that. And we're like, okay, so the Crate Dragon raid has only been out for 6-7 months. And we're already going to lose that after the investment that took me 4 months to get to a point I am at now to earn those rewards, and they're being stripped out, and I can't use that investment in the new raid. And they're saying now, for the upcoming Speeder Bike Pursuit raid, we're estimating it will be featured for 8 to 9 months. That means every 8 to 9 months, we're going to get a new raid, which means you have got a very small window of opportunity to try and earn your Mark III currency from whatever raid is coming. I think this is unnecessarily punitive towards younger accounts and early game players, because it's going to be hard enough for them to get one team up and running for any raid in a 9-month period. Some of them, okay? like, it's going to be a hard time for them to say, okay, yeah, I'll just get Leia. It might take them 6-7 months to get Leia, and then they'll have a month to use her in the raid. And they're like, oh, well, I better start working on the next GL that's going to be in the next raid. I don't think that's particularly fair, personally. I think it's very harsh towards the player base to expect them to farm, to lose the value of the teams that they've invested in for the current raid within that short of a time frame. This, like, 8 to 9 months for this new raid. Sure, it's coming in the next 3 to 4 months, but that means we've got like a year, basically. A year to prep and actually earn the rewards. That's not a lot of time, and that's if GL Leia and this new raid drop in December. If they come any earlier, then it's even less time to prepare. So I can't get this out of my head that this is unnecessarily punitive. It doesn't have to be this aggressive towards the player base. I don't mind. Hey, they can release a new raid every 8 to 9 months if they want. Just don't take away our existing rewards. And I'm not even on board with them halving the existing rewards in Crate, or even taking it down 10%. There is no reason why those rewards should ever go, in my opinion. It should not happen. Shouldn't happen. Okay, that's just, yeah, whatever. I'm getting a little bit wound up just thinking about it right now, guys. But let me know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on raid frequency? How quickly are we going to be repeating this raid? What are your thoughts about new raid cycles? And what do you think about the Mark III currency? Let me know in the comments section down below, because I'm struggling to get on board with this as a decision. I like a lot of what they're doing, but this one is a bit of a stickler for me. All right, guys, until the next video, peace out, and may the Force be with you.